How many times per minute do you breathe? What kind of question is that? Did you ever think about that? Like, how many breaths do I take per minute? And how do you breathe? Through your nose or your mouth? That's so interesting. And it's like the main thing you learn in the absolutely stunning, awesome, wonderful, you have to read it book of James Nestor, Breath. It's really mind blowing what you learn in this book, but it's a long one. And I want to tell you two things you should take away from this because it's absolutely super, super important. Point one, breathe through your nose always and everywhere. And I know I'm not the sporty girl, and we were hiking in summer when I was starting to listen to this book. Steep, steep hill, like the pictures on the mountaintop. I don't know if you saw that, the photo shooting I had, and I was like, through your nose. But this is like for me, it was an extreme situation. But if you are a sporty person, you have to consider to just breathe into your nose all the time. And maybe you do that. So yeah, come on, that's not new. It's just it was for me so interesting to hear what happens inside of our head. Like really it changes if you stop breathing through your nose and only use your mouth. And it's also a medical thing, like, oh, you can't breathe through your nose, so use your mouth. You have two things. And all the breathing experts, and also that's so interesting, the ancient tribes, they say no way, you have to breathe through your nose. And as I said, if you stop breathing through your nose, everything changes. It gets the everything gets narrow, and it morphs into like, oh yeah, so you don't use it. So I'm building this back to, I don't know, like it's getting worse and worse and worse. But you can invert it and say, okay, I breathe through my nose all the time, and then everything gets better. James Nestor had severe breathing problems and issues, and that was his number one research, which he backed up with like tribal visits, where he noticed that they push the lips of even babies gently together, so that the baby, when it's sleeping, doesn't start to build a habit of breathing through its mouth. So it's like super, super important. And he had medical researches and also like ancient wisdom researches that this is just a fact. We, in nowadays times, eating soft food and breathing through our mouths is really the baddest thing we can do, and vice versa. The best thing you can do for yourself is breathe through your nose. And I'm really aware of that now, and I'm aware when I don't breathe through my nose, and I switch now. It's kind of a training again, and you can change that if you catch yourself like, oh, mouth breathing, switch to nose breathing. The whole book talks you into that fact. You can just hear it from me without facts, but please buy this book, listen to it, read it. It's absolutely great. And there are so many systems here in our nose. Even there is a poison gas we are producing in here to kill viruses and bacteria. I mean, how genius is our body to have a defense mechanism in our nose? It's not only that the air gets warmer and filtered within the nose. It's so much more. Everything is in the book, but you just have to consider that you start or just continue to breathe through your nose all the time. The second message I just want to give you in the end, he says, it's so simple, but everything combined. He learned. He went to the the graves, the mass graves of Paris, like underneath the city, there are thousands, millions of bones of sculpts. I don't know the word in English, but he really did his studies down there with the bones of these people, which changed within the centuries where we stopped hunting and eating like raw food from nature to cooked food, soft food, soups, smoothies. Even we need our jaw here to use the whole system in the right way. That's another thing. Eat food you have to chew, and like chew with patience. That would be another improvement. But breathing through your nose is the most important. And he did all this research, and in the end he says, okay, now my message. Breathe in for 5.5 seconds, breathe out for 5.5 seconds. That's all. And I'm a scientist, so I love to have explanations like, oh yeah, you can tell me 5.5 seconds in any time of the day. Why should I believe you? And the whole explanations lead to this recommendation because there is a balance between the gases in our body, like the carbon dioxide, the CO2, which we breathe out, and the oxygen, which we breathe in. We need to bring that to our cells, to every cell of your body, even in the toe or wherever it is. And then the oxygen goes into the cell and does its work to produce energy. And then the garbage, the thing our body doesn't need anymore, is CO2. And that needs to get carried by the blood cells again to the lung, and you exhale. So the balance between inhale and exhale needs to be in a way that we have the right amount of CO2 in our blood and the right amount of O2. So in this balance, the cells can intake the right amount of O2. So this whole balance is a really complex system, and we tend to breathe faster than 5.5 seconds and a lot of O2. So the CO2 level is low, and then the cells have it. There is more oxygen in the blood, but it can't be transported to the cells. So if you're bored by scientific explanations, just try to breathe 5.5 seconds in and out. And if you do the math, that's like 6 times breathing per minute. It's a little less. And then the whole balance, the whole science, the whole whatever is best for you is in balance if you do that. I think that's so fascinating. Like 6 times per minute, I usually breathe faster, and I want to reduce that. And that I write it in the text. I'll post it afterwards for you and also on the blog. If we train ourselves, I programmed reminders into my phone so that I think of these 5.5 seconds all the time. So when I sit and when I'm concentrated or even on a walk, that I count sometimes, not all the time of course, but that you are aware like, oh, I'm holding my breath. I'm so concentrated and working, I'm holding my breath. Hell no. Like breathe through your nose in this gentle balance of 5.5 seconds. And if it's 6 or 4, like getting into the direction of this ideal. And then let's check the difference. So my challenge for myself is that, and I wrote in the text, I'll post you afterwards, that in the Joy Academy we do challenges like this to improve our lives, to improve things which are maybe a problem for us, like having more energy, like more oxygen in our cells. That's more energy. And if you can do it just by breathing slower and in a gentle way, hey, wow, it's free, and you just have to be reminded. And in Joy Academy we do exactly that, being reminders of each other, having accountability partners, and setting your own challenges for the whole month. We have our new the next monthly call is now in the end of November. The next one is in January, and you can be part of the January masterclass of the Vision 2021 webinar. That would be so cool if you are taking your seat in the group of the Joy Academy members, but it's open for public. So you can check me out and check how we can work through our dreams and vision, and then also the fears of like, I can't plan for 2021. Like, look at 2020, nothing worked out. Like finding again a balance between believing that everything is possible and also being true to your dreams and wishes, like, oh, I can have this or that, or I can create this or that, whatever the circumstances are. Like, believe in yourself with or without company, but the company of the Joy Academy members is so cool and inspiring. So if you sign up today, I'll welcome you with open arms, and the whole group will applaud you for this decision that you want to create your dream life day by day with your vision in your head and in your heart, but like enjoy the now today. That's the goal of life, right? And what another recommendation, again, I know I could be annoying to you, I don't know what you think. The Joyometer, last time in this rainbowish design. Next one is hand painted by me in December design. Fill out the Joyometer to focus on gratitude and what was great, what you are grateful for, what you got inspired by. This focus is so good. And I had, for example, yesterday evening, I recorded 2 interviews with such amazing guests. One from Atlanta, Georgia, and one guy from New York. And it's just, I loved it. And I was so inspired by them. I wrote it down on the Joyometer that these interviews were my highlight of the week. Like, how cool is my work that this is my highlight? And just write down what's happening in your life. I'll post it into the blog post underneath my text, and get inspired, get into action for yourself, breathe differently, check things out, try new things, be grateful, be aware of what you can write down when you get questions like the highlight of my week. I did all this for myself. Like, self-care is key too. So many keys. And you have the keys in your hand. You just have to do it. And I'm so happy that you're watching this video. Step 1, what do I want? Step 2, what do I do for making it true? And let's breathe while we are fulfilling our dreams. 5.5 seconds in, 5.5 seconds out, and through our nose. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. See you next week, and see you in January 10th in the Switzerland afternoon is this webinar. And of course we see us before, but just write that down in your calendar. January 10th. I will send you more information for that. See you. Bye bye. Take care.